An anti-Biden, so to speak. Not me, Warren added. I'm here to fight. The folks at the top aren't bad guys. The wealthy are as patriotic as the poor. Vice President Mike Pence is a decent guy. I really like Dick Cheney for real. My greatest accomplishment is the 1994 crime bill. Nearly every attendee grabbed a flyer as they descended the escalator to Hall F to hear Biden's Democratic opponents speak. It would be hard to find a bigger, less pro-Biden crowd anywhere. Yet California's jam-packed anti-Biden audition also dramatized something else, just how daunting it will be for any one candidate to emerge as the alternative to Biden this year or even next. There are far too many candidates right now for that, says Dan Schnur, a former spokesman for John McCain and recent director of the Jesse M. Unruh Institute of Politics at the University of Southern California. It's more likely that a small number of un-Bidens will rise to the top before the field winnows to one alternative, and this weekend is one of only dozens of opportunities they'll have to make their case. None of which stop the vast field of candidates from seizing the opportunity afforded by Biden's absence and this weekend's huge, sympathetic audience to at least start to contrast themselves with the former VP. I am obviously a woman of color, she said at Saturday's Big Ideas Forum hosted by Move On. My mother was also a woman of color. My aunties, relatives also women of color. It is not a new issue for me. The battle for economic justice is a civil rights battle. In Oakland Friday night, Warren held a sunset town hall that drew more locals, 6,500, than Biden's big campaign kickoff rally, 6,000, earlier this month, a reminder that Biden has had trouble translating his polling dominance and big money donors into grassroots enthusiasm. When I lead the Democratic Party, we will be a party of moral clarity, a party of courage, and a party with backbone, Warren said Saturday on the convention stage. In these times, Democrats can no more promise to take us back to the 2000s or 1990s than conservatives can take us back to the 1950s, Buttigieg said. Trump wins if we look too much like Washington. He wins if we look like more of the same. Which means, surprisingly, that the riskiest thing we could do is try to play it safe. There's no going back to normal right now. And former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke began every one of his speeches in fluent Spanish, touching time and again on his new, detailed plan to legalize America's 11 million undocumented immigrants and remove citizenship hurdles for 9 million green card holders, a reminder that he has represented a community Biden has little connection to. If immigration is a problem, O'Rourke said at the Move On Forum, it's the best problem we've ever had as a country. Socialism is not the answer, Hickenlooper said as the crowd started booing boos that continued as he attacked Medicare for All and the Green New Deal. We shouldn't try to achieve universal coverage by removing private insurance from over 100 million Americans. We shouldn't try to tackle climate change by guaranteeing every American a government job. Meanwhile, Biden himself was stumping in the Buckeye State, not a huge primary target, but one of the biggest prizes of the general election. A new poll of voters in California showed him leading statewide with 30% of the vote, 7 points ahead of Sanders and 15 points ahead of native daughter Harris. Another survey showed him walloping each of his primary opponents by at least 36 percentage points in head-to-head matchups. During a quick stop for tacos with Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti last month, Biden expressed confidence about the primary process and California's role in it. The field is going to be winnowed out pretty quickly, here in California as well, he said. In order to get any delegates in a congressional district, you've got to get 15% of the vote. So, this is going to work its way through relatively quickly for all of us. Biden's above-the-fray plan could easily go awry. He's been known to misspeak. He could stumble in the debates. He could fall short in Iowa. But for now he will keep coasting, and all of the would-be anti-Bidens will keep trying to make waves.